wish I could say that I live in a country and on a planet where people understand why to have the courage to stand for what is morally precise instead of being a worm around a bunch of other conformist and scared worms. But I do not. I am truly alone on this one. This video I'll explain to you why it is insane not to know that I'm right, and why it is insane for society to try to drug me for being right. First, let me give you a quote from the Bible, and we'll explore why this proves my point to a T. 2 Corinthians 6:14. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? So it is not enough to try to be right. You have to not be wrong. All right, so the first point I will make is, what is the moral order? So obviously, I've proven many times in my videos that it is insane to not try to restore the moral order, even if it cannot be done as a matter of principle, because everything else is pure evil and pathetic, and life is short. And you're betting against the idea of a God, and you're rejecting the importance of having the principle of righteousness as your lifestyle, which transcends the idea of letting your wicked family members live. So even if they're going to be persecuted as a result. All right, so the martial art order line is chosen by nature, and for those of you who believe in God, chosen by God. It hones righteousness, action, love, the wise path, justice, etc. It's obviously proven by gene expression. I've seen pictures on Facebook where you see 5 generations of family members, and they look similar. They're about the same height. They look similar. I've seen many of these pictures. I've known families myself. I've seen many examples of gene expression, okay? If there's some kind of mutation, it's not a fully loaded 747, as the saying goes, okay? And of course, it's more than gene expression that gives one his moral place, his moral inheritance. It is the moral path of his forefathers. This is why, after I die, there cannot be a moral path. There's just thieves' paths. Okay? So many of you heard my argument many times. Brain surgeon father, Royal African Martial Art Line, Dr. Mother. On my father's side is Nigeria. Nigeria is significantly more populated than other African countries, significantly more physical and mental prowess than other African countries. Okay, so of the most martial art gifted group of people, okay, Nigerians are the bell that rings the loudest. And of them, it is the Igbos. The rest of the Nigerians went against them during the Civil War, and we can look at them and study them carefully and see the difference between the Eri center of the Igbo culture, okay, and the other types of Igbos and the other Nigerians, okay. It's clear cut, obvious. Obi vie as alphas, Igbo vie as alphas. It's part of the wordplay for the word obvious. We can explore it in the comments if you have any questions about that. It's basically OBI becomes backwards IBO. There's anagrams, interchangeable vowel, L. Okay, even if you don't believe the wordplay, it's still obvious when you really look into it. All right, now, they might stack the deck and put a bunch of pictures of feeble Igbos. They've done this a lot when I do my Google searches, made it hard for me to find things. They do some funny business there. All right. So point number 2. Now we've pretty much established point number 1. What is the moral order? And it is wrong to cheat the moral order out of their right to lead and say, I know best. You wouldn't, when you don't know how to fly a plane, you wouldn't say, let me fly the plane and crash everybody. How much more when it's the moral direction of all of humanity? Okay, it's pretty clear cut there. Number 2, torturing people by lying to them, not giving them God's love, etc. Okay, confusing them with psychology and propaganda and breeding inferior brain function and calling it superior is wrong. This is the direction of society. Eugenics has been debunked 1 billion times. Okay, it is wrong to pretend the white race is superior, to the white Jews are superior. It is wrong to pretend people who are not superior are superior, especially when they've taken us in such a criminal direction all these years. Okay, pretty straightforward. Anyone who looks into Israel knows that I'm right. Anyone who looks into the government corruption knows that I'm right, like this. Okay, anyone who looks into the neo-Nazi movement, the scientific rape movement, Francis Galton, that clown-ass looking inferior piece of shit, and when everyone looks into this knows that I'm right. Okay, So this leads to rape by deception. People are confused about who they are, what they should do, and what they should do in terms of who they should do, right? Who they should have sex with, who they should mate with, okay? This goes back to the words mate, date, late, fate, rate, okay? What is the rate? This is another reason why they're wrong. You can't just say, hey, you know what? That guy can never restore the moral order. Let's just wait and see what happens. Then you're sitting there while people are breeding evil more and more and more and more and more. It's very, very obvious. I'm right about it. Look at Americans. Look at the world. It's full of evil people, indifferent people, sniveling fools in their pathetic cultures, emos, heavy metal, satanic rap, all these kind of sickos everywhere. Okay, corrupt cops, white-collar goons, conformist corporate goons, lawyers, various forms of corruption. Okay. So when people withdraw, okay, I use the example of astral projection. Science basically proved astral projection false. So these people withdrawing, they're like, hey, Mr. Guru, teach me to astral project. Teach me your magical kind of Eastern philosophy formulas, okay? And it turns out it's false. There's some truth in moving the chi energy of the body, but who doesn't know that already? But this other stuff is wrong. So based on their false theory, they're saying withdraw and think of yourself alone and your spiritual journey. Okay, that is selfishness. I think Martin Luther King said it well when he said, to ignore evil is to become accomplice to it. But keep in mind, he said, I fear I may have integrated my people into a burning house. He also said about his 4 daughters that he wanted them to live in a world where they will be judged by the color of their skin and not by, they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And that is the same thing with the moral order. Can regular half-assed attempts to be moral, which are not sound, be the same as moral precision, which can only be found in the moral order, not cheating the most moral person out of his right to lead, and then focused moral intensity as that person and the people following him? No. So obviously, my argument is superior. Functionalist arguments are a joke. I'll quickly end this by saying the G sound in Jesus. Jewish. G-wish is another way to pronounce Jewish. G-wish. G is the Roman earth deity. Tribe, tribe-be. And we can see there in that wordplay that there's a lot of people, a lot of whites who claim they're the real Jews. There's some African Americans who claim they're the real Jews. There's white Jews who are from Europe or whatever, in Israel and so on. All these people claim that they're the real chosen people of God, Israel. Eyes, Ra, El. Okay, eyes real. But who really sees things in terms of a God of justice, Psalm 50. Okay, Psalm 9:16. Okay, who really sees things in terms of justice and righteousness, Amos and Hosea. Okay, it is not them, as they cheat me out of my right to lead. Okay, so when you look at this thing, obviously, in a sense, I'm the only real Jew. You know, I'm the only real person doing the right thing. The protocol of Zion. Pro-to-call of on eyes. Zion scrambled. On is Heliopolis, Ra's call center. Abraham.